friends, welcome back to my channel with yet another video. And like I had promised you earlier in my last video that I will be bringing to you a comprehensive owner's review of the Royal Enfield BS6 2021 Himalayan. And today is the day, and obviously by now you would have already seen by the title, right, that I'm going to do owner's review on this. Before I start off, I'm just going to clarify a few points that I'm not an expert reviewer. Whatever I have ridden this motorcycle, a very little bit of it, right now it has done about 100 odd kilometers in about a week's time. So whatever I have ridden, and I will be giving you my perspective, which is an owner's perspective, okay, of what you can expect from this motorcycle. And one more thing to be noted, this bike is completely stock and I have not done any modifications whatsoever, barring the fact that I have given this pannier, or I've installed this pannier on this. That's the only mod that I have done, and that's also from Royal Enfield authorized service center itself, right? So these are the Royal Enfield panniers that I have put in here. Apart from that, no modifications whatsoever. And one more thing, मेरी आवाज़ थोड़ी बहुत echo कर रहा होगा because I am right now in a basement, as you can see, right, which is not functional yet. So ये मेरे level 2 basement है, which is not yet up and running, and that's why there is a lot of echo. But flip side is, this is the coolest place for any video shoot. So let me start off with few panoramic shots of this bike, and then let me get on with a detailed review. So stay tuned and watch this video till the end. And if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe to it so that you don't miss on any future uploads. So let's roll. So essentially, what can we expect out of this motorcycle, right? So it's the same old wine in a new model, or the wine is a bit refined. That I'll leave it up to you to decide after this comprehensive review. So the very first thing that you notice in the 2021 BS6 Himalayan, right, is this windshield. So that's the most noticeable item that you can see. Yes, it is a bit taller, but it is a bit narrower as well. So what they have made, right, so they have had to redesign the windshield to accommodate the tripper navigation here. But the tripper navigation placement on the console, right, that I will come to you later, it's not something to my taste. I'm sure many who are die-hard fan of Royal Enfield would agree to this. Rest all, it comes in, I believe, 3 new colors. I'm not going to go in detail of that. So one is a green color, and the granite black and mirage silver. I think these are the 3 ones which are coming. The other noticeable item, right? So I told you about the item which you will immediately notice from the front. If you just come to the side of the bike, what will immediately catch your attention is this redesigned rack. So the jerry can holder, right, or the tank protector. So what they've done is they have essentially cut this short, and that I believe is a feedback driven kind of a move, wherein a lot of customers used to complain about, taller riders specifically used to complain about, you know, that touching here, right, it used to touch to their knees. So but essentially that won't make a huge difference because it's still as functional as before. Moving on, so the remaining part all remains same. What I don't like about this part, you see, this is actually plasticky, whereas in the erstwhile BS4 Himalayan, right, this is to be engraved on a metal plate. Why do you enforce a plastic in a solid build bike? Plastic is not meant for go anywhere. I'm not going to talk about these panniers, these are aftermarket fit. The next thing, what you would immediately notice if you're seeing the bike from behind, the very first noticeable item is this redesigned tail rack. So what they have done, they put a fine finishing, and on top of it they have written maximum load 7 kg. So they are designed to hold max load or max capacity of 7 kgs. This design looks good. What they have done is they have made it a bit shorter. If I can show you like this, it is absolutely coming in almost the seat height, and they have in height it has reduced from the erstwhile Himalayan BS6 model as well, and in length also it is much shorter. What Royal Enfield claims that it is much more sturdier than before. On the engine front, I don't see any major change happening, but yes, the engine is much more responsive than the erstwhile BS6 model. Now I showed what are the differences if you look at the bike from the front, from the side and from the back. Now when it comes to the riding seat, what changes? And that's where the biggest game is. Let me place my camera. So the biggest difference here, what you see, right, is this addition of the tripper navigation. Royal Enfield could have taken this opportunity to redesign the instrument cluster altogether, but they chose not to. This looks like an afterthought, to be very honest. Okay, it doesn't integrate very well within the console, and if you look at, right, the purpose of this compass and this is ideally same. So why keep two things? So essentially Royal Enfield has made sure you cannot get lost, be it a digital way or an analog way. That's how I read it as. But this compass, in most cases, in Indian conditions, is absolutely useless because it takes its own sweet time to get calibrated and be functional. So it is not functionally that useful, right? The mirrors and all stay same. The big part, if you hold on to the handlebars, you will notice that there used to be a choke here earlier. That is gone now. So if you want to cold start this engine, then that choke used to play a very important role, but now you are basically have to depend on your luck. Okay, I'm not saying that this battery and all is not reliable, but yeah, they would have redesigned, rethought about it before removing it. Okay, that I'll come to know as and when I ride more, right? Coming on to the instrument cluster, let me switch on it. Okay, so this is how it looks, right? And if you see, this display is very basic, and this is white in background. It shows you time at the top. That has a mind of its own, I would say, because it sometimes adjusts to AM PM by its own will. There's a gear position indicator, there's a trip, there's a odo, there's a temperature. That's, mind you, that's the ambient temperature, not the engine temperature. There's a odometer and there's the trip meter, and there's the side stand indicator here, and there are telltale lights all across. So there's a neutral, there's a battery, there's a ABS. Okay, there's the tachometer, this is the fuel meter, this is the compass, and this is the tripper navigation which they have introduced. Apart from this, the cluster remains pretty basic, and you get three buttons here. This one is for the switchable ABS part, this is the mode selector, and this is the select button. So I won't go into much detail about this cluster because this is the very old same cluster which was there in BS6, BS4 and other models, just with this tripper navigation added.
Well, you know what? The tripper navigation, everything is fine. It'll take you to your destination, but when you arrive at your destination, it really doesn't tell you that you have arrived. How can you miss that?
Mind you, this all comes at a premium. This redesigned windshield, the tripper navigation, the redesigned jerry can holder, redesigned tail rack, everything that comes at a premium, and that's not less. Earlier, if you used to switch on the ignition key, the entire headlamp used to get activated, but now you see only the pilot lamp is activated. That's a kind of energy saving mechanism so that your battery doesn't drain out, and that's, I believe, again a feedback driven kind of an initiative. So as soon as you turn on the vehicle, your headlights will get turned on. Let me show you that. You see that? On the vibration part, right, there are, and Royal Enfield has still yet disappointed. I don't know whether it is because in my bike or not, there are apparent vibrations when you switch on the vehicle and you are at a lower rev. I can feel vibration here, I can feel vibration on the tank, and I can feel vibration on the foot pegs as well. So essentially what I've ridden it about 100 odd kilometers, and I have noticed that, you know, if you are anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 RPM on any gear, there is a slight vibration. I won't call that as a vibration, I will rather call that as a buzziness, which is even more irritating than a rhythmic vibration. I had owned TB for a long time, Thunderbird, and That vibration used to be a rhythmic vibration wherein it used to give a feel of how the engine is actually revolving underneath you. But in this case, there's a buzzy vibration on the mirrors, on the handlebars, on the tank, on the foot pegs, and even you feel it on here. Coming to the suspension, this is actually the same suspension carryover, but I believe, as per my riding, right, or rather whatever I have felt so far, this rear suspension is a bit on a stiffer side than that of the BS6 model. I think again this is a feedback driven kind of an initiative, because earlier the suspension used to be set on a very softer tune, and now it's in a stiffer tune of suspension. But that would improve your high speed stability, your straight line stability, to a very much larger extent. The engine feels a bit more responsive. At any gear, at any given point of time, you will feel that the engine is much more responsive than the erstwhile or the outgoing model or the model it replaced. On the electrical front, there is nothing changing. Even on the tires, the brakes, everything remains same. Earlier there used to be a sign here like for the ABS logo. That is not there anymore. Obviously by now it is kind of apparent that every model in this category should have an ABS. That's why probably they have removed it, which is good. The other half, the electrical part and all remains same. So coming to very basic few problems which Royal Enfield could have avoided, right? You see here, this cluster here displays the time 2:34 AM. This instrument cluster also displays the time in a digital way. Both are digital. It displays 2:29 PM. Now there is a way to calibrate this, but I couldn't find out a way to calibrate this one. So let me know in the comment section if there is a way. Maybe I am missing something. I have read the owner's manual, but I couldn't find anything. Why to have two clocks showing two different times in two different consoles? Well, that's a reason best known to Royal Enfield. If you show time here, let it show here, remove the time part from here, right? But what they have done, they have actually put this out of the Meteor and put it here. The other lackluster finishing, right? You see all these are actually gray in finish, but you see this one, they are all of a sudden introducing a chrome, which makes us to believe that although Royal Enfield, this is a very known fact that this is coming from Meteor. They have introduced first in Meteor. This is a straight bolt-on fit from Meteor. In Meteor also this comes as a chrome. Why introduce chrome when all other elements are actually matte gray in color? Royal Enfield, think about it. The other big part which I have noticed, I have ridden a BS6 as well. Now what they have done to accommodate this, they have actually pushed this entire console a bit to your left. So right now in a straight line, what you apparently see is these telltale lights, which ideally in all sense should be the speedometer. So in order to see the speedometer, you need to actually tilt your eyes to the left, which is not a good sign. Again, it might be very basic, but yeah, it is aesthetically, ergonomically not the right design language. I'm sure Royal Enfield will work on that. Switchable ABS. So this model comes with a switchable ABS, and that has a mind of its own. Okay, if you see here, the manual says you hold this ABS select button and hold it for 5 seconds, then leave it. I left it. See, nothing happens. Let us try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, now it happens. Okay, like that. I was not able to turn off the ABS for about quite considerable amount of time. After a lot of retries, probably this worked. Okay, Royal Enfield should introduce a better mechanism to do this. There are other nooks and corners as well which Royal Enfield has cut. If you see here, right, this one, this used to get a cover here, right? A small plastic cap used to be on top of this. Now these are gone. Why, Royal Enfield? Why? You give something, you take away something. But this is something which is very basic, because if a water goes inside this one, right, it will actually make sure that it rusts, and Royal Enfield is known for rusting, right? So I'm sure if you have taken off this one, you would have improved this one, so that time will tell us. The other bad part, right, with this extended windshield, this item here, right, this one has also been redesigned, which means the accessories which used to come, the GPS mounts and all, right, that won't directly fit in here. So we have to wait for the accessories manufacturer to come up with their respective models for which supports Royal Enfield 2021. And this cluster, if you see, right, there is a plate here. I don't know whether you can see. There is a plate here which runs all the way, and that actually houses this cluster and this one. So it's not a odd placement, but yeah, it looks pretty odd, to be very honest, at least to my taste. Other than that, suspension and all, everything remains same. The bike rides fantastic. There is no change in the dynamics, but yeah, there are subtle changes, certain things which Royal Enfield could have taken this opportunity to improve. Firstly, vibration. Okay. Secondly, the design aspect, the aesthetic aspect of this one, that could have changed. And there are still exposed bits and pieces. If you see here, this is not to my liking, to be very honest. I didn't like this. There were certain manufacturing faults as well. This bolt here, which houses the pannier rack, this one was extra welded, and that's why this bolt was not going in. So that's a manufacturing defect which they solved. But yeah, the one other big change in this bike is the seat, and that also is a feedback driven, right? So this seat is now much more firmer. Earlier it used to be a very soft, cushiony kind of a surface. Now it's actually stiff, which is kind of again a feedback from the riders, which I believe Royal Enfield has incorporated. It's good. So the stiff or the thick cushioning of the seat, right, would actually give a lot of comfort in the long rides, in your long journeys to the hills or so. But the downside of this, right, for shorter riders, earlier because of the seat was soft, the seat used to come down, and since the suspension was soft, the entire bike, when you have a weight of the rider, right, it used to come down, right? So although it was a 800 millimeter kind of a seat height earlier as well, but because of this soft seat and soft suspension, the bike used to come down a bit. But now there will be problems for shorter riders because the bike doesn't bow down that much on a rider's weight. So that's a very first impression. I don't know whether the suspension will eventually smoothen out or soften out, but this is what any rider who is below 5'5" would actually face this difficulty. It's not actually an old wine in a new bottle, but it's not a new wine either. So Royal Enfield has done their bit to update it, but again, please note that this is not a brand new motorcycle. This is just a motorcycle which is kind of receiving its midlife upgrades. Okay guys, so that was my review on the Royal Enfield 2021 BS6 Himalayan. If you have liked the video, or if you want to know something more about this bike, please do leave your thoughts and questions down in the comment section below, and I would be very happy to answer those. Once again, just to clarify myself, right, I am not an expert reviewer. Whatever I have told on this bike is just from an owner's perspective, a simple owner who has actually put his hard-earned money on this bike, taking it out of the showroom, thinking that it is an upgrade, right? So it's for those, and it's from an owner to an owner review, right? So what you can expect as an owner is what this review was all about. So again, if you have liked this, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and please do hit that like button and share this video among your friends, families and relatives, so that other riders, bikers can benefit out of this in the community. So until next time, when I do a comprehensive review of this bike after the first service, so stay tuned, and please do stay safe until you're vaccinated. Bye-bye.